Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening. I am Gail Demore, Madam Chair, and with me, we have Vice Chair Mary Beth Welch and Dr. Ed Weiner, Andrea Sheehan, and Dr. Marwa El-Shahabi, board members. Professional staff as well, Susan Luminello, Director of Public Health, Michael Green, Associate Director of Public Health, Christine Mathis, Environmental Engineer, Marlene Johnson, Health Agent, and is our recording secretary, Ms. Buckingham?
She's online.
She's online, is with us as well. Please note, we are on live and will be taped by BCAT and are available for appropriate comments and questions throughout this technology. Thank you to BCAT for always recording our meetings and sharing and keeping our community up to date with what's happening. We're going to start with approval of minutes. I believe that's March 25th, 2025. I need a motion.
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Second. Okay, so approved by Andrea and also Dr. Sabaki. And then also we have April 8th, 2025, approval of minutes. Can I have a motion for that as well?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have to do roll call?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
For both of
for
them.
both of them, it's the same.
Oh, both at
You
the
can do it at the
same,
same
I did
time?
them
Oh.
separate.
That's okay, whatever.
I'll get better at this.
You're doing fine.
Also, we're moving on through the agenda with citizens' time.
You need to
You're going
ask.
to do a vote.
Oh, all in favor for the both March 25th and April 8th minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we can move on.
You say 5-0.
5-0.
5 years, 0. Beautiful.
Citizens' time. Is there anyone here or online who is not part of our agenda but would like to speak or have something to say to the Board of Health?
So we have quite a few online, so I don't know if there's anybody online that wants to speak. If so, please unmute yourself now.
Otherwise, we're assuming they're on the agenda. Anyone in the room not on the agenda? Okay, got a full house. Chairman's report. We've had a busy spring here at the Board of Health, an election, a reorganization, and our annual health fair, which, in my opinion, was a complete success this year, despite the rain. My favorite part was the clinical trials mobile unit. If you missed out, you'll just have to mark your calendar for next year because it seems to be getting better and better every year. Next up, we have hazardous house waste on Saturday. We'll probably hear about that later in our meeting, which will be discussed. And then lastly, last night, Dr. Ed Weiner, Susan Luminello, and myself were at town meeting, and I would just like to thank town meeting for approving our budget. Are there any subcommittee reports? I don't think so. Okay.
Was there something that you were thinking of?
Oh, I didn't have a chance to talk to anyone about it. I was going to wait until
It's up to you. It's your decision.
I will do that. And then secondly, we're moving into our agenda, so I did want to ask to move
Take out of order.
or take out of order the kennel license recommendation,
9 Wheatland.
9 Wheatland Ave.
So you need a vote.
I move that we take 9 Wheatland Ave out of order, kennel license recommendation.
I'll second.
In favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
I keep forgetting. Great. So is the person from 9 Wheatland Ave here? Why don't you guys approach the table, please? Could you please also sign in with the date and your name and your order of business? there a pen? There's a pen there, great. So who do we have before us? Mark
Mark Callaway?
Callaway and Karen Peters?
Correct.
Great. And you're both at Wheatland, 9 Wheatland Street?
Correct.
Okay, and you're looking for a kennel license?
Correct.
Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how this came about?
Yep, so I moved into Mark's attached in-law last year, and he already had 2 dogs. July of last year, I acquired a small dog. Woman left, yes. I was at Nevins to volunteer to walk dogs, talked to a woman, she was very nice. She's like, mind holding my dog's leash while I grab something? I said, sure, and she left. So, brought the dog into Nevins. They said they couldn't take her because it wasn't my dog. Recommended I take her to animal control, but it was a Sunday, and she was so little and so nervous and shaken, so I took her in. Then after several months, I decided to get another dog, only to keep her company, because she was about 7 years old. Didn't know her past, yes. The other one's, she's 5 months old, she's only 3.5 pounds. The other one, Layla, I named her, she's about 7 pounds, so.
What kind of dog is it?
So Bailey, who is the puppy, she is a Maltipoo. And Layla, I think, is a Yorkie Poo. She's more poodle, I know that. And I came here to get a license for Bailey, because I already had one for Layla. And that's when I found out that if you have more than 3 dogs, you have to get a kennel license.
Okay.
Hence why we're here.
And are you thinking about getting more
No,
dogs? or-
no.
Okay, so,
Move from the Water Hill. Move from the inspected.
oh, right, well, I know that the yard was inspected, but I just want to see who inspected it.
Yeah, so they explained the situation. Taisha Soto from our health inspector for the shared services.
Oh, right.
Did the inspection on April
Okay.
10th, didn't find any concerns, and so we recommend a favorable recommendation to the town clerk for the kennel license.
Okay, does anyone have any questions, or?
No, I don't. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend to the town, who would be the town clerk? Recommend to the town clerk a kennel license for 9 Wheatland
Wheatland
Ave.
Street.
So moved.
It's street.
Straight.
Please note that on the agenda, it says Ave, it is street.
Oh, okay. Right. Great,
Is there a second?
I did second. it.
Second, oh, you did, okay.
You did. So I think that's it.
No.
So-
Motion.
Oh,
Vote.
A motion to vote, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Now, do we just go to the town clerk's office tomorrow and
Yeah,
get the kennel
I'll send
license?
over a letter to the town clerk tomorrow, and so they'll get our recommendation then. And they're the ones that issue the license.
Okay, and should I would just stop by and pick it up, or,
You could give them a call, I'm not sure how they do it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
And then you'll see us again next year if you still have the dogs.
Oh,
Okay.
one question, is there a fee to it?
I think there is at the town clerk's, not from us, yeah.
okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
Great, thank you. So then we're going back to applications for a site plan and special permit approval at 252 Fox Hill Road. Hi there. Please sign in.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Vivian Lowe. I'm with Danisco Design. We are the architects for the new Fox Hill Elementary School.
And I'm Neil Harrigan, also from Danisco Design.
So we wanted to give a brief overview of the project. Thank you for reviewing it. We're meeting with,
Your microphone.
closer?
Little closer to you.
Okay. With us this evening, actually online, are a few of our consultants. So Janet Bernardo is with Horsley Winton. She is our civil engineer. Tim Roos is our geothermal consultant. Frank Stragmalia is our plumbing engineer with VAV International, and John Souza, our food service consultant with Crabtree McGrath. So I'm not sure, Christine, are you able to put our,
Yeah.
we have a short presentation that we wanted to just share. We'll talk a little bit about the project and then wanted to speak as to how we're going to address and how we meet the requirements for the draft set of conditions that we've received from Christine. So the project is a new school. It's a two-story school, 91,000 square feet. It's going to be constructed right where the existing, pretty much where the existing parking lot is located. The existing school will remain operational as there really isn't swing space to move the kids to. So it's kind of a two-phase project where the new building will be constructed. We'll create temporary parking lots for the staff as well as for visitors, and also provide space for bus drop-off and turnaround. So we'll completely separate the construction from the operations of the existing school. Once the new school is completed, the kids will move in, and then we'll demolish the existing school, we'll abate it and demolish it, and then complete the parking lot and the fields. Part of the work, let's see, we are currently, actually, could we go into the next? There you go. Great. So we're currently in the construction documents phase. At the end of this year, we'll have a set of documents that will be put out to bid. So we're anticipating a contractor will be on board by the end of January. So within a year's time, we're anticipating breaking ground for the new school. The construction will take about 2 years. We're anticipating move-in to be in the winter, spring of 2028, and then phase 2 will occur after that with the completion of the fields in the fall. All right. Should we go through everything, and then we'll just open it up for questions afterwards? Okay, so the new work will be not only a new school, but we will be creating playground areas. We're reworking the entry drive where Westwood and Fox Hill come together. We'll be creating a traffic circle. There will be associated landscaping as well as stormwater management facilities, site utilities, grading, and also some outdoor classroom space for the kids also to really enjoy and connect to the existing nature trails. The existing building will be demolished, and actually, before that all happens, and before the new school is completed, we will be drilling 77 geothermal wells. Actually, maybe it's 76, because we already had a test well done. We will have a good amount of earthwork as part of this project. We understand any fill that is going to be imported, we require chemical testing to make sure everything coming in is clean. And if it's something that the board will like to review, we can certainly fold that into the workflow process. All right. So the next slide is the existing site. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. I'm not going to get into it. We are really defined by wetlands on the north, the Wilmington line, also down to the, well, it's not really, it's more the west, and then the vernal pool down at the southeastern edge. We have gone before the Conservation Commission. We've had 2 hearings, and we will hope to close that hearing after we meet with the planning board after site plan approval. Let's see. So the next slide, Neil's going to talk a little bit about some of the conditions that we've received for
Yes.
draft review.
Thanks, Vivian. So as Vivian stated, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to, this summer, we're going to be doing some test pits. So all the number ones up there, we have to do some percolation tests to make sure all of our stormwater systems are functioning exactly the way they're designed. We do have a lot of test data from the borings on the types of soil, but we want to physically test them. So those 4 will occur at each of the locations. We have 3 subsurface stormwater systems, and then we have a poured-in-place that's permeable surface where the playground is. So that's the 4th one that will be tested. In addition, we have an existing septic system from the original school was built in 1967. It hasn't been used in at least 30 or 40 years. We're not even sure it's there, but we'll obviously apply for a permit and make sure it gets removed properly. That'll be probably one of the first things to happen because, as you can see, that's number 2, which is that yellow area. And then the dashed line around there with number 4 is where all the geothermal wells will be. So we'd like to remove that and do some rough grading before we can start doing the drilling the wells. And then as we go along, during construction, we're also obviously going to be testing all of our soils, as Vivian said, and then the contractor will be responsible for dust and odor and noise control as well. So the next slide, this is just kind of a blow-up of the existing location. So we had a survey done, and based on the original drawings of the building and the survey information, we believe this is kind of where the septic tank and the D-boxes and leach field are. So that'll be the first thing taken out. Next slide. Again, this is just a plan of the existing building. We do know, we've done some survey already. There is asbestos material there, so we'll have to abate it. Nothing crazy, so we think it'll just take the normal, normal amount of time to do the abatement. And we're hoping to have that done probably as soon, like they'll start as soon as the kids move out of the building, which we're hoping to be February of 2028. And we'd like to have it taken down, by early summer. So that'll probably occur in that spring. And then the next slide, this is just kind of a blow-up of all the wells. There is, as Vivian said, one well already drilled is kind of in the farthest left on the site plan there. There's a large vault. You can kind of see to the right of that playground area, which is kind of a bean shape. It's the box where all the lines come together. So there will be a vault out there in the middle of the field with a couple of manholes in it. And then the 77 wells will be drilling about 450 feet or so each. Obviously, we're getting permits for all
I'm
that.
sorry, you said a vault?
There's a vault where they all kind of come together.
Okay.
So each well loop comes into this structure, and then there's a large 10-inch pipe that comes out of it back to the building. It just to kind of, gather all the water together into one location. All right.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just on this particular slide here, is that the vault that you're talking about, is that orange that's highlighted here?
The orange is all of the area of the wells.
And where's the vault?
It's the little rectangle that's kind of in the middle.
Oh, okay. And
Right there,
what is
yeah.
this structure here in the shaded area here in between that?
That's the playground.
I'm sorry, what?
Playground.
Oh, okay.
Playgrounds, yeah. So we have some under drains there. That's what those lines are.
Okay. Those are permeable pavers, permeable surface?
It's a permeable rubber surface.
Yeah.
And the abandoned septic tank, where you think it is in this vaulted area or in the area of these wells?
It is closer, I think it's closer to where the wells are. It's to the right of the playground, we believe.
Yes, up
Yeah.
here, okay. And what makes you think that there is an abandoned septic tank there? Because that was something that I
The
don't think is anything in our files, correct? We didn't see that in our files.
There's a notation of it
The original drawings had it in there,
from the building department.
yeah.
Okay. Because we don't have anything in there that has ever been looked at or abandoned or anything.
No.
You don't know what type of system it is?
No, we don't
No.
know. I mean, I could show you, I could share the drawings with you, I have them. They're,
Okay.
Yeah.
but they drew a lot less in 1967 than today.
Madam Chair, could that be a source of contamination?
The septic tank,
Yeah.
I don't think so,
don't
but
believe
I'm not
so,
really
but-
qualified to answer that.
I don't know. Would that be an issue?
Should that be sampled?
I mean, if it hasn't been used in 30 or 40 years, I mean, there's no, organic material left at this point. It has to be dug up, so you would have your they'd have their environmental consultants on site to look for evidence of, odors or that type of thing.
Typically, if you would think about sampling under a septic system, it would be what was the system used for? So if there was an industrial building or something here, and there was a chance that chemicals were somehow put down the drain, then yeah, you definitely want to sample underneath it. But the history has always been a school, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah, it was undeveloped prior to being a school.
Yeah. It was open land before they built it. Okay. So next, so this is our stormwater under our proposed subsurface stormwater systems. So we have three of them. The one to the north of the school, which is the smallest one, will handle all the roof runoff. So we'll build that one first with the school, and then the two to the south will be built after the existing school gets torn down. And then to the right is that bean shape is the playground. So that's just it's permeable poured-in-place paving.
Madam Chair, quick question on those. Can they be cleaned out? Can they be cleaned out? Are there?
Yeah, there's inspection ports and manholes and access, all that stuff. Yeah, we went over with DPW.
Are there current water
And the
runoffs
town engineer.
in the meantime?
Are there what?
Are there current water runoffs?
Right now, the roof drain just flows to a pipe into the wetlands.
Okay,
There's no existing stormwater management. unit
Yeah, there's
on
no-
site?
okay,
But you're going to have all kinds of, Madam Chair,
yes.
they're going to have a number of, I counted quite a few manholes, correct?
Yes, there'll be
Now,
manholes
when-
throughout.
Can you please address the fact that I don't see on those manholes any way to clean them? Are there hoods on those manholes or pillows or any way there? How are they cleaned?
Can
I
we
don't see
can we have Janet, our civil engineer, answer
Answer it,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, are there no hoods at all?
Hi, this is Janet Bernardo. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a professional civil engineer with the Forsty Whitney Group, and there are several catch basins that have hoods and deep sumps. The catch basins are piped with regular drainage piping to manhole structures that are also then piped to these subsurface infiltration systems to manage the stormwater. So the stormwater will be directed to one of these chamber systems. It will infiltrate, or for the very much larger storm events, it would overflow and discharge out to one of the wetland systems that is currently accepting stormwater. The roof runoff from the existing building currently discharges towards the wetlands of the north or northeast. So there are means to clean these out. They will have various locations where you're trying to locate them in places that will not be under a tree, for instance. We want to make sure we can get our, the vegetation planted without having chamber and catch basin openings or manhole openings in the area. So there will be abilities to clean them out.
Okay, thank you.
Next, this is just an overview of the site plan for the project. So, as you can see, we're reconfiguring the intersection of Westwood and Fox Hill with a small traffic circle. We think that'll improve traffic flow and also kind of slow down the cars to turn around the circle. We have dedicated queuing for the parent drop-off, which has been an issue, so that they have enough for about 50 cars on site. So none of it will be on the roads. We also have a dedicated lane for the vans, because there'll be two special education programs in the building.
Okay.
So they will be right in the front, by the front door. The front door is kind of in the middle of that, right there where she's pointing. And then to the west is the bus drop-off loop, which has its own little area, so the buses can, all the buses, which there are currently 7, we anticipate, so they can all fit in that bus loop. And,
So they're going to go to the left.
oops, yeah, the buses go straight north from the circle.
Okay,
So see those little yellow rectangles of the buses.
yep.
And then we have a separate entrance on the western end of the school just for the kids on the buses.
So the students will go in on that side of the.
Yeah, and they can go right to their classrooms. That's how they do it
Okay.
right now. So it's more convenient. So the left side of the building is all academic classrooms, and then the right side is more like the cafeteria, the kitchen, the gymnasium, office. We call it like the community wing and the academic wing. So
Right.
it's kind of convenient for them just to get right to their classrooms.
Right.
And then some of the other site features, we have about 125 parking spaces, which is a bit more than the current staff and visitors will need. We have areas for 2 fields, three U10 soccer fields or 1 large lacrosse field. It's kind of what those green rectangles to the east of the parking are. We have, as we talked about, the Portland Place playground is right next to the gymnasium. There'll be also some outdoor play space to the north of the building that'll kind of connect the cafeteria to the playground, so the kids can go right outside from the cafeteria and then go right to the play areas. Also, the gym will have pretty direct access to the fields, being right on the end there.
Great.
So, we miss anything? There's outdoor learning as well. So, there's a lot of good features. It's a great site. We love the site. It's like,
I liked the plan when I looked at it, to be honest. I thought it
thank
was
you.
well done. Does anyone have any questions, or
You done?
you answered?
I think they have more slides.
we have
Oh,
more
okay,
slides.
sorry.
Just a few more
for you.
Done.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you about the utilities. I'm sure you're interested in that. So the green are we're tying into the electrical. There's a pole on Fox Hill Road. We're going to tie into that for the main electrical. We're going to add a new pole, and then from that pole, we'll go underground all the way to our transformer, which is in the back of the building. And then there's also going to be an emergency generator, a 500 kilowatt diesel generator on site right behind it. And then there's also more green to the south, which is, we have EV charging stations, so we're going to have another transformer. There's a pole currently that feeds the Fox Hill School that's kind of to the very south of that property, and it'll run underground from that pole to the new transformer and conduits to the new EV charging stations. The blue lines are the water lines. We're doing a water loop around the building with 3 new fire hydrants.
Good.
And then the pink line or magenta line is the sanitary sewer. So we'll tie into the existing sewer that you have at the intersection of Fox Hill and Westwood. And then we have a 4,000-gallon grease interceptor in the back as well. That's part of that system. Again, this is the floor plans. Again, left side is the academic wing, as we mentioned. So the first floor will have kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. The classrooms to the left are the kindergarten that are a little bit bigger because they have a toilet in the classrooms. So we've designed these so they're kind of in clusters outside of each classroom. We call it a project area. So it's a little bit larger area. So we'll either have lockers in them, or it's like a space for pull-out instruction with little tables and chairs. So it's kind of another little teaching space that the teachers can utilize to have one-on-one teaching outside of the classroom. So all the classrooms will have that. They'll be in clusters of 4. And then to the right are all the academic spaces. She's showing the kitchen. So there is a commercial kitchen, obviously, that's going to be part of the cafeteria. We've designed it with John Souza from Crabtree McGrath. He's done a really good job. It's packed with equipment. And we have 2 serving lines coming in, so there'll be, if you can kind of, to the right side of that is a serving line, and then behind it is all the kitchen equipment and hood behind it. Second floor, again, academic wing on the left. On the right side, there will be the community wing. There's a library, is the kind of yellow-orange colored space. This building will also have an art room and a STEM room. So that's the purple space next to the library and the blue space next to the purple space. And there's also going to be an outdoor classroom on the second floor. We have an open area where the kids can do some science or art work. And then the rooftops. So we've kind of designed the roof so we've aggregated as much of the mechanical equipment together so we can utilize as much space as possible for solar. The town wants to do a PPA with solar on the roof, so that'll be a separate contract with another vendor to put solar panels up there. Again, just an aerial view. Again, we're excited about this school. We're using a lot of, kind of traditional materials, a lot of brick and concrete masonry units. There's some accent materials you'll kind of see as we go through it, some metal panels and phenolic, which is kind of a wood-looking type panel on the project. So this is an aerial view from just above Fox Hill. And the next one is a view of as you enter from the parent drop-off, this is what you'd see. There's a canopy at the front door, and then that taller section that's with the sloping roof is the library above. So you kind of enter right underneath the library. I think it's similar to Marshall Simons right now. You kind of enter under the library. This view is the, if you go back one, that's, if you go down, up one, or back, there you go. So when you get off the bus, this is the western entrance of the school. So we've kind of designed that as also a second lobby. So it's not like a back door. It'll feel like you're in a nice, welcoming space. And then finally, just another view from the, we've kind of designed this little pollinator garden in that triangular space to the left side of the van drop-off loop. So this is like standing in that pollinator garden, looking back towards the entrance. And then phasing, as Vivian mentioned, we are going to build this while the site's occupied. So this shows you kind of the two different phases. Phase one will be totally fenced in and secured while the kids are in school there. Those little hatched areas to the right and to the bottom of this existing school are going to be temporary parking lots that we're going to have to pave so the teachers have a place to park. And then we are going to have to divert the existing roof runoff with that red line. That'll be a partially temporary stormwater drain system, and the last vertical leg of it will be permanent. So we're going to build that permanent part with the temporaries that'll connect to the existing. So all the roof runoff will be taken care of before we start demolishing the existing pipes.
So which is the part of the existing school now? Is that is there phase one?
The Mickey Mouse shape.
Phase two.
Huh?
Which is the existing school?
Yeah.
To the south, that phase two part.
This right here is the
Yep.
phase two part. So the kids are going to be in school here in phase one. You're going to build phase two. Kids are going to move in, and then you're going to demolish the
Yep.
existing building. What are they going to use for the dust? I mean, are the kids going to be in school during the demolition? What are they using for the dust control? Is that going to be water, or do you know what they're going to be doing for that?
Well, we have a spec on it. I think there will be water and stuff that are part of the dust control. And we'll work with the school, obviously, to not do demolition when it's
It'll be probably done
Problematic.
during outside of school, like when school is not in session, or is that how?
I think the abatement will happen first, and that'll usually
That'll
takes a while.
That'll be during school, but it's mostly inside.
And it's contained, it has to be contained.
Right, so they often use water to control the dust, and our fencing, we call for scrim, so at least there's a little bit of protection from the dust blowing straight over, right? There's still going to be something, in the air, but not as much as if it was completely wide open. Where we can, and it's disruptive, we will ask them to hold off and maybe work during vacation weeks when it's more disruptive. So the closer we are to the new school, we'll likely have them work in those areas during vacation weeks.
April vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's always a concern. We
Right.
definitely are worried about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it might be prudent for us to have whoever construction manager, so we can contact them if anything, we get any calls from,
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
concerned residents with regards to dust and dust control
Yeah.
during
Yeah,
demolition.
absolutely.
Yep.
They'll have to go through the whole
Maybe that should be
process with.
condition.
Condition.
Can I speak? Maybe add that to condition 13, that Danisco, please, will provide the environmental engineer, a list of them, the managers, in case there are issues that come up.
Yeah, we'll do that once we have a contractor on board.
Okay.
So won't be till next
13th.
January. But we'll make sure your guys are in the loop.
Madam Chair, I've got some other questions, but I can wait.
Are you all set, Susan?
They have a couple more slides.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I thought you were done.
I'm like,
I think there's just one last
slide.
one, which is really the meetings and the upcoming meetings that you all know about and our milestones. So really just the construction schedule. And a lot of these conditions we will address as part of the specifications, which are basically the rules and regulations that the contractor gets. When you're building this building, this is what you need to really follow. And we include in that all the reviews required, all of the permits that are required. So we spell it out as best we can. And we typically have pre-construction meetings. We definitely will with conservation. And, if the board would like to meet this person, this group, we can certainly arrange for that to happen as well. They will be coming to you for permitting for the wells, right? And all of this, all of the other components. All right, so I think
Yep.
that is pretty much it, and we are happy to answer questions.
I had one question, just because you mentioned taking out asbestos. When would that happen?
Well,
Do you, I just don't know if I misunderstood, because I heard asbestos and then taking it out, and is that something you're going to do to the existing building they're in, and then put the kids back in there?
no.
Oh, okay. I
No,
misunderstood.
that will happen once the kids move out of the old
Okay.
school and into the new school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? I think you have a couple.
Yes, I do. The first one is the pollinator garden. Will that hold water at all?
No.
It'll be dry.
Yeah, we've kind of, we have no, stormwater that's being retained on site. It's all going to the.
No
Everything will
bioretention.
be
basically.
underground.
Everything's underground.
Okay, the second, I'm just curious, are you confident that, because we've had issues, the geothermal system will work in a building like this? They
Yeah,
tend
we've
to
done
be-
several of these.
sorry?
We've done several schools with geothermal wells that have functioned as
Yeah.
designed.
And they have been fine?
Yep.
So you don't have no qualms about this, the underground structures here, or the underground.
The vault, you mean?
Vault, yeah.
or- Yeah. Tim Roos could probably address that. There are, there's leak detection, and there are manholes, as Neil said, where maintenance would need to go in periodically,
Yeah,
but
no, I'm just wondering, is the soil beneficial for
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
geothermal?
yeah, we'll have Tim answer
answer
that
it.
question.
Yeah. My name's Tim Roos with Wellspring Geothermal. A test well was installed at the site. It's going to be part of the final 77 boreholes, so there 76 more need to be drilled. It gave us some indicators of how much water was encountered and, the ground properties. And it's a test well, meaning that it was thermally tested. So heat was injected into the ground, and as an outfall of that testing, you can measure the thermal conductivity. So we use that as part of the design basis. We have decent knowledge of what you're going to hit. As far as how much overburden and all those other factors that do impact, the feasibility of putting in the geothermal system. But having put that in, we have a high confidence that we understand what's going to happen, and we have good design basis information.
Thank you. And then,
Just one comment on that, too. We haven't approved these in a while.
Yes.
And the ones that we approved in the past were going very deep.
Yes.
This is a different type of well, these are deep. They're going down deep? They're not
yeah.
vertical?
no,
450.
Oh, they are going down.
they are
deep.
going
Okay.
down deep.
They're not as deep as, there are some that used to go down to 5,000 feet, somewhere in that range, but these are 500.
So you've got, okay.
So
They're all
77, 500 feet.
76 of them.
Yep.
Did I miss?
Oh, you're going to be able to get down there through,
That's what I'm asking.
yeah,
I was just
you know
gonna
that? Or will you have to move them?
That's a question for Tim. Actually, if there's bedrock, it's actually to our benefit.
Yeah, I mean, drilling and into bedrock really isn't an issue. That's done, it's been done for decades, it's understood. In New England, you have a lot of bedrock and hard bedrock with granites and that sort of thing. So the actual drilling is really not a concern into the bedrock. Again, the test well was installed, there weren't any I'll say concerns that popped up. A more concerning thing that could have happened that didn't happen here is if it's like very soft and you have a very loose spot, then it keeps caving in, and that can be an issue, just as an example. But the test well went in, it went in really without much issue. There was a very low amount of water, which is good. If you have a lot of water, then managing it is, it really ends up being an expense, but there's things there. So it actually was a very good site for putting in the well type of system that we're intending that we're designing and that is intended to be put in.
And I'm just wondering too, how that's going to fit into your time frame. Is the drilling going to happen when the kids are in the building, or how is that going to fit into the time frame?
The drilling is,
Wells.
it's probably going to happen early on the construction of the new school. So the kids will still be in the existing school, and it's a little bit further away, kind of on the opposite corner of where the kids are. So that needs to happen earlier rather than later. And once that's in, then they have a little bit more space to work around for constructing the building.
One more question, Madam Chair. Condition number 10, and that is following approval of this recommendation of the board, any changes will be submitted to the environmental engineer to determine whether or not another appearance before the Board of Health is required. So please be aware of that. And if you have any issues, our director or our environmental engineer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Any other questions?
I have one quick question.
Great, sure.
I was going to ask a little bit, you did comment in the building and site design about sidewalk and crosswalk improvements, and I think Burlington in general could use some improvement in terms of like bicycle, ways and things like that. So can you comment a little bit more about that on your site design?
Sure. Do you want to, can you put up the site plan up there? It's,
Just tell me when, here?
no, that one there. Stop, yep. So we are, right now there's a sidewalk on the north side of Westwood, and we'll connect to that. And then there's a sidewalk on the
West side.
west side of Fox Hill. So we've kind of designed it so there's a sidewalk that kind of goes all the way around the bus loop, and there's also a crosswalk that connects you kind of right towards that western door of the school. And then there's obviously sidewalks in front of the school. So we've kind of made sure that there's ways for kids to walk or bike to school without being on the roads.
Okay.
So,
And I think
and we
there was-
anticipate
go ahead.
2 crossing guards in this configuration.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you had commented, I think, on natural trails that the site would be connected to. Are these?
Yep, so there is a trailhead to the north of the parking lot that we will connect to. I don't know if you recall, there's a trailhead marker. So we'll end up moving that, actually, because we're taking a little bit of that space over for the bus turnaround. So we'll have a sidewalk that actually connects to that trailhead. And then we have a path that goes around the fields that will be able to connect to the sawmill, was it a brook? Yeah, the sawmill, yeah.
It exists now.
So, right, so that will connect to those trailheads.
Very nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you.
Madam Chair, just
Of course.
I'm wondering how much fill you're going to have to bring on site?
That's a good question.
Janet, do you have any idea? It's been a while since we've looked at, when we're doing our cost estimates, it was ingrained in our brain, but I don't recall.
Yeah, sorry, it's not in my top of my head at the moment, what that number is.
Yeah.
We were trying to make sure to try to balance it as much as possible, but realizing that we will need to bring material in.
I didn't catch that.
So we will be importing material. She just doesn't remember the exact numbers, how many yards will be brought in.
Well, I'm just thinking, it does slope down a bit
Yes.
there in
Yes.
quite a few areas, so it sounds like you're going to have to be, I mean, it looks like you're probably going to have to be bringing in a lot of fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're bringing so our new building elevation is going to be lower than the existing school elevation by a couple of feet. So when we designed it, we were trying to balance, right, as much as we could, the cut and fill. But there's still areas that have soils that are not amenable for the building footprint. So again, those areas will definitely bring in some structural fill.
Okay, so our condition here that you put in is that, number 5, is that may not be brought on site without prior approval from the Board of Health. So I'm just, prior approval, what type of prior approval are we going to give for this? What are you going to be doing? Are you going to be testing for certain things of the soil, or, because we need parameters around what prior approval, I think we need to clarify that condition a bit.
So once construction starts, the contractor will submit to us paperwork for the quarry or whatever facility they'll be bringing in fill. We require that they not only provide sieve, the quality of material, but also the chemical reporting for the material to make sure that everything coming in is clean, essentially. So that's one of the requirements we fold into our specifications. If the board needed to review every single load, I think it would be good if there was a streamlined way to provide the information to the board for approval. But perhaps it's enough for us to submit the specifications with that requirement. And if desired, we could submit at least the first couple of submittals to you for review. Once construction starts, the workflow is really important to kind of keep it coming. So,
Madam Chair, what do we do now? What do we currently do now for that?
What we typically do is if they are purchasing it from a known source like a quarry, and they have the, sieve analysis and the backup chemical information, that if it's purchased, raw material, then that's acceptable. Where we get into a little bit of a problem, and we then look at things like the similar soils policy underneath the MCP. That's for soils that are not coming from a known source like a quarry.
Do you know where the soil's going to be coming from?
We don't know yet.
not yet.
So,
Is that part of the condition? We need to know where it's coming?
It sounds like we need to know where it's coming from.
yeah, they probably don't know that
Right.
until, so the question I have is how we're going to, it's like our condition says it can't be on site unless we approve it, right? So that's going to be up to Board of Health staff to kind of say, okay, this soil is okay. And if it's coming from, so what you said, if it's coming from a quarry, that's easy, right? But it may not always be the case. So you said you have specifications that you require from your contractor
Yep.
with regards to what, so maybe we can get a copy of those specifications?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
And I'm assuming those outline what laboratory testing is going to be done on the soil and how often they're doing samples?
Yeah, how many
Is it every
cubic yards?
truckload, is it every, how often we're doing it? And maybe we should also include in here, an idea of how much soil is being brought on site, so we kind of have that, idea of how many
Sure.
truckloads are going to be going in there, and maybe include the ability for Christine to request that soil testing if need be. So if you wanted to look at it, you can look at what the results were of the soil testing, because it is in, residential type area. It's not an industrial type area there, so we want to be careful with what soil is being brought in there.
Yeah, as an example, on projects in the past, they've said, okay, we're bringing in approximately 1,000 cubic yards of raw material from this quarry, and they have, submit that source information up front. I've had a few projects where they then said, we're thinking about switching the source of the material. These were not in residential areas, but, and we're looking at bringing in clean fill from a subdivision in Waltham. And that's where we sometimes put on the brakes, or we do put on the brakes and say, no, we need more information on that source, because you're not purchasing it from a quarry. So that's where so if we can get the specs first.
Yep.
We maybe should word this to say, fill materials specifications should be submitted for review.
Yeah, well,
Just add that to the
to
one.
number 5.
To
Add it
number
to-
5 revised to state where is the soil coming from and submit copies of labs, testing labs, I guess?
Our results.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, so their specifications are going to say, we're going to test for these things.
Right.
And then I think that they should be approved, because we have no idea I'm sure your specifications are good ones, but we
Yeah.
want to be able to take a look at those,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
for
I'm
sure.
also assuming your specifications are based on the fact that it's going to a school area.
Yep.
Right? So
Yeah.
making sure that we're okay with the specifications before,
Sure.
Yeah, we'd be happy
anything
to
is
share
brought
them
on
with you.
site.
Right.
And then the problem with submitting the lab testing, I think what they're saying is that because they, you're getting filled so quickly, you're right in the middle of construction, getting those lab results to us might hold their construction up. So that's.
Okay.
that's-
We don't want to hinder the process.
Right.
Right, but if the specifications say, for example, that, they're going to test for, just as an example, VOCs and total VOCs may not exceed, boom. Or, any individual VOC cannot exceed the GWS one, the S1 standard under the MCP, whatever that's the type of spec we would look at ahead of time and assume that the fill, once we approve that spec, the fill that they're bringing in meets that.
It might not be a bad idea, though, just for you to send us the lab results after the fact, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Yep.
definitely share you all the
Right.
results.
A summary
We don't-
or something, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
What should
allow,
5 read? Madam Chair, what should 5 read? What's the sentence after fill be provided?
So we've got right now, fill material may not be brought on site without prior approval from the Board of Health. I think we should keep that. And then specification for testing and soil
Source?
source shall be submitted to the Board of Health prior to any site being brought, any soil
Delivery.
being brought on site.
Yeah.
And then laboratory testing results shall be submitted to the Board of Health. Doesn't have to be, we don't have to put
Super
prior
specific.
to it coming on site, but we want to, it would be good to have the laboratory testing on file, so, if there is any question, if somebody's wondering, what soil was brought on site, we'll have the testing there in our files as well.
we actually won't allow them to bring it on site without the reports.
Yes, which will be
So
in
you
your
won't.
specifications.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's,
and we have to
Yes.
approve it, actually.
That's what I'm saying,
That's good.
But we also want to have the results there.
Yes.
So that we can look at them.
absolutely, yeah.
Because I would assume we'd want to know that before it's even brought in. right?
Yeah.
Well,
We'd want to know.
we're kind of leaving it up to them to make sure that they're meeting their specifications, and they're looking at this before it's brought in. But because if we don't, if we have to check them all beforehand, it might hold up their
It's going to slow
construction
down
process.
production.
Right.
Yeah.
but we'll look at the specs ahead of time and say, yes, we agree that if all your soil meets this spec, then you
Right.
can approve those batches to come in.
Because you'll know at
Yeah.
a certain point where you're getting those.
Yes.
that
Yes,
product
That could
from, right?
change throughout the process, like might get it
Yes.
from one area, then
Right.
another
Right.
area, you
Right.
know.
Christine, you said it
does
happens.
switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
They switch the source.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I've rejected several because
I see.
I've said,
Right.
no, that's not the
Acceptable.
equivalent of a virgin, sand and gravel.
Right.
Does that sound
It sounds perfectly reasonable.
Okay.
Okay, good. So revisions with number 5, and we're adding a
And
13.
13, with the list of responsible individuals to each, a list of the responsible individuals for the project.
So we have a contact list on both sides.
Got it.
So, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the application for site plan approval and special permit with the 13 conditions and the revised number 5 condition.
So moved.
So moved.
In unison.
Is there a second?
Second.
No, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0-0.
500.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, that was a great presentation. So, ooh, that was a big one. All right, that's bringing us into our permits, and we have a biological safety permit, 25 Blue Sky Drive. Please, come on up, sign in, please, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for allowing us to speak to you this evening. I have submitted all the information to Christine and been in communication, so hopefully you've had a chance to review everything. And
Just give you a little introduction and then.
Sure, that'd be great, thank you.
So Vericel has already moved to 25 Blue Sky Drive. They're in the one half of the large new building next to the Broad Institute, who occupies the other half. They currently have a hazardous materials storage permit from us, which they got at the end of last year. And they are now looking to move a couple of their, or one of their biological projects out of Cambridge and into Burlington. And so they're here before you to apply for that biological safety permit. So we did hold, Vericel held a IBC meeting a few weeks ago. Myself and the community representative were in attendance. We reviewed the protocols that they're proposing and voted on the risk groups, and biosafety levels. So I'll let Tony give his presentation.
thank you very much. Next slide, please. So Tony Gemolaro, I'm the biosafety officer for the company, and I'm here with John, who's the principal investigator, to help with some of the technical language and protocols as well. So we've highlighted, some of the agenda for this evening to go over some basic the mission, our research and production plans moving forward. We moved into the facility, officially in January, and so we want to share the timeline, facility discussion, so you know more about what we have there. Give you an overview of security and safety. So I'm also in charge of safety and security at the site, so I'll give you some more details about that as well. Next slide, please. And okay, so we have a basic vision for the company. We are committed to improving the lives of patients with serious conditions by developing manufacturing, innovative cell therapies, and specialty biologics. So we are committed here. We're more of a gene therapy company or a cell company, and John can go into more details later on when he talks about his project. But we do encourage and value our employees to help with expectations for our patients and patient care. So we'll get into more detail about that as well. Next slide, please. So as stated, we are dedicated to developing advanced therapies for treatment of patients with severe diseases and conditions. We have 2 advanced cell therapies that we're working on currently in Cambridge, and that technology will be transferred to Burlington facility. The first one is MACI, a 3rd-generation autologous chondrocyte implant for the treatment of cartilage defects in the knee, basically helping with defects in the knee, help patients, mostly athletes, improve in a much safer way and better way. And then Epicel is a permanent skin replacement for full-thickness burns greater than or equal to 30% of total body surface area. A very interesting technology that actually helps develop these skin cells, taking it from the patient and growing it in the laboratory. Much better and faster recovery for those patients as well. And then there's some other exclusive licenses as well as part of Nexo brand and other products. John, if I missed anything, let me know.
No, that's good, Tony. Any questions about the products? Okay.
Okay, next slide, please. If I'm going too fast, let me know, sorry. So just some basic, as part of our introduction, we currently have 359 employees at the company, spread out in Burlington, Cambridge, Ann Arbor, and remote. We have a sales force as well. So currently, we have about 60 to 80 people at Burlington. We're slowly moving some people over from Cambridge. We have a standard group of people there, and then there are people there that are helping with the manufacturing process and technology transfer as well. Future, we hope to have 200 to 250 people there as well. That'll be mainly office, manufacturing, laboratory, facility support. And then our plans for manufacturing, we want to start using recombinant DNA work by mid-May. John is the principal investigator and has a vested interest in that research. So technology transfer has started, and we hope to have manufacturing completed or ready to go by Q1 2026. I also have Joe Romano here if there's any additional questions in terms of the building itself and what we're doing and the technology as well, so we can ask that. So good. Next slide is Joe is part of our is the executive director of operations, along with a management team, and then we have a scientific team that John sits on and other individuals as well. Okay. So now this brings us to our two protocols that Christine mentioned earlier that we voted at the IBC meeting. The next slide actually goes over the IBC committee, so we'll look at that. So we have committee with that represents our R&D location, quality control, and then we have some individuals who serve in the laboratories as well, some non-technical person. And our, actually, we had 3 community members attend, so I kind of went out and recruited, but Christine had one as well, so we have 3 members who also attended.
Madam Chair, one second.
Oh.
I'm sorry, your name, please?
Tony Gimolaro.
And your role here?
I'm the biosafety officer.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm also the associate director of security, employee health, and safety.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, so thank you.
And then can you reintroduce yourself?
Yes, I'm John Duguid, Executive Director of Research and Development.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Oh. And
Joe Romano, Executive
Romano,
Director of
okay.
Operations.
Thank you.
So I'll turn this over to John, who's our principal investigator, to do a non-technical review and a technical review of the project.
Yeah, the materials that we used are only used in testing our products. The products are both biologics that are regulated by FDA, so they have to be shown to be free from microbiological contamination, including mycoplasmas and endotoxins and other bacteria and fungi. For the mycoplasma test, because we're a cell therapy manufacturing company, we don't permit viable mycoplasma organisms in the facility because they can very easily infect cell cultures, and so that would be devastating to our products. So we needed to develop a surrogate to show that the analysts doing the tests could actually recover the organisms. So we developed a surrogate using E. coli that contains a strand of mycoplasma DNA, a plasmid of mycoplasma DNA, so that we can actually so that we can show they can detect the organism in the test. And so that's basically the basis of the first protocol that we're asking for.
I was just going to comment, and it's my understanding that's in a pellet form?
The E. coli?
Yeah.
Yes, the E. coli is right now pelleted in and cryopreserved at -80. So what we're also, at some point, we've developed the standard. We had, 96 little tubes of standard that we had to grow and replicate, back in Cambridge. We'll need to do that again at some point, but it's all going to be self-contained in the laboratories, the BS2, BL2 laboratories.
Good plunk time to Dr. Duguid, is that how it?
Duguid, yeah.
Duguid, Dr. Duguid. This is all BL2, biosafety level 2?
It's all contained in those laboratories, yeah.
2+ or all 2?
All 2. Right, Tony?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
All 2.
And we have sent out the sample for verification, as one of the requirements is strain verification, and it did confirm that we have E. coli, an E. coli strain.
Okay,
Thank you.
carry on.
Anything else, John, you want to add, or?
I don't have anything to add. I think that's it.
Okay.
Right now.
Great. So I'm just going to review some of the key points from the IBC meeting for everyone's understanding. So the next slide, I think, goes into that into a little bit more detail.
You want me to talk about?
Oh, yes.
the
Oh, did you want
assay a
to,
little bit?
did you want to talk about this? And
It's up to you. Do you want me to?
Okay.
Any more questions about the test or it's basically, we use an off-the-shelf test from Thermo Fisher Scientific, and we're just confirming that it works with our products.
Okay. So the next slide then, the one after this. So John, I actually already explained this in Word form. And the next slide will go over why the justification for the host vector system, which is critical to reviewing the material. So as he's mentioned, we are using E. coli, or anything that's E. coli-like will fall under BSL-1. However, for any pathogenic strains, the requirement would be biosafety level 2. So hopefully that answers your question as well. So we determined that these strains are biosafety level 2 containment, and all of our labs will be biosafety level 2, because we also work with bloodborne pathogen material as well. Okay. So again, the procedures for strain verification and attenuated strains or genetically modified strains of pathogens will be handled at a higher level at Verisol until documentation can be provided to safely use at the lower level. And if we identify the identity of any attenuated strains cannot be verified, it will be handled at, just like the wild type pathogen. Okay. So, as I mentioned. So this is where we come to the NIH guidelines. If you've read some of these guidelines, there's specific references to section D, 3D, where it says experiments involving the introduction of recombinant or synthetic DNA molecules into risk group 2 agents will usually be conducted at biosafety level 2 containment. So that's where we got our information. We have no whole animals here. So what we did is we voted and we determined that it was a 3D. Oops, sorry, next slide.
Sorry.
It was a 3D, and these are the experiments that we're working with now. So this is an approved protocol by the IBC. So any questions on the protocol that John has just gone over? Okay. The next protocol is growth promotion of liquid and solid media. So our principal investigator is not here, but John, if you don't mind going over this one as well, or?
Sure. Again, the microorganisms are used in the testing labs, and so this is for sterility testing, and you need to show that the medium that you're using in the sterility test is capable of supporting the growth of microorganisms. So we get pelleted microorganisms that we have to test each batch of the growth media before we use it for sterility testing. So that's, in a nutshell, these sort of next 3 slides. But.
Right. So the next slide is the same, so the technical and non-technical is the same. So then we can say that's the same and skip to the next slide. So our justification here, we're using all ATCC samples that we purchase commercially. This is based on the evaluation and the use of human materials. We treat all human materials under the OSHA bloodborne pathogen standard as if they were potentially infectious. These would be body fluids, unfixed tissues, and cells that we collect from patients. Some of the strains are biosafety level 1, according to ATCC, E. coli, Bacillus, subtilis, and Aspergillus, Candida albicans, and Clostridium as well. And we do have a USDA permit required for 3 of these agents as well. So Sam, who's not here, is our principal investigator, holds that permit, and that is because we have to ship them domestically within the U.S. So we have that permit as well. Next slide. So again, going back to the NIH guidelines, under section 3F refers to exempt material. So these are organisms, cells, viruses that have not been modified or manipulated. They've been encapsulated in synthetic or natural vehicles to render them capable of penetrating cellular membranes. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is that because we have other biological agents, we have a current RDNA protocol that John has with E. coli, I wanted to show you that we also have other organisms, but we have voted, next slide, that these are considered exempt material. So it has been documented in the protocols that I have submitted for your review. Any questions on this protocol?
It was clear.
Very clear.
Okay. So now we get into a brief discussion of the facility. We are at 25 Blue Sky Drive, about 125,000 square feet. I think it's 125,700. But each floor, we have 3 floors, is equal, about 44,000 plus square feet. Our landlord is Nordblum, and we share this building with the Broad Institute, which is right next door to us at 27 Blue Sky Drive. The laboratory areas are on the 3rd floor, and we have a manufacturing facility on the 1st floor, and I have a map that'll show what the building looks like as well. So all labs in manufacturing are BL2, risk group 2. This is the 1st floor where we have our manufacturing facility. All the little red dots that you see there are really biosafety cabinets. So we have like about 97 biosafety cabinets and 21 cabinets in our laboratory space as well. So the blue arrows, if you can see that, is the direction of flow where we would pick up the solid waste in sharps containers and then bring it out of the facility to our biological waste room that's on the bottom left. And I have a better slide coming up. So the next slide shows another picture. Again, we also have chemical storage and a pH neutralization system for your interest as well. And then the next slide. So here we shows you the rooms in more detail, where we have the biological waste room, a loading dock where the truck will pull up and remove the waste from that area, which is separate from the other loading dock. So we don't mix biological waste and chemical waste in that area. And then there is liquid nitrogen storage in the center there. So there are 9 tanks there that will contain liquid nitrogen that will cryopreserve our cells and our material. Okay, next slide, please. This is our laboratory where John will be working. On the right side, I believe, is R&D. The left side is quality control. And in the center are clean rooms where they do aseptic type work to make sure they keep everything clean and they can analyze the material from there as well. Okay. Next slide. This is the outside exterior slides where we have liquid nitrogen and liquid CO2 outside of the facility and diesel fuel, above ground diesel fuel generator as well. The diesel fuel is 2,200 gallons, but it holds 1,800 gallons as well. So, yeah, okay. And then just want to talk a little bit about the environmental health and safety program. So we manage hazardous waste, emergency planning, fire and life safety, chemical safety, biological safety, and ergonomics. So we do promote a safe working environment for all of our employees and ensure compliance with all our local, state, and federal regulations. And next slide. So security. We have card key access control. At the main entrance, people have to badge in, and then they have to badge in through the turnstiles, as you can see here. We have a security officer there 5 days a week from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. As we grow, we will also have security on Saturday and Sundays as well as we grow. So we have security cameras throughout the facility and access levels assigned specifically to the lab and manufacturing, so we have restricted access to those areas. So the office people cannot go into the labs unless they have the proper training as well. Security, additional access, as I mentioned, and we have standard operating procedures in place as well. Okay. So here's a summary of the permits and timelines. I think Christine mentioned that we do have the hazardous material permit in place, which is complete. We have a wastewater permit application that was submitted back in January 30th of this year, and it's still pending. We haven't received the permit yet, but they are allowing us to do some work now and some validation work, and we'll have that hopefully in the near future as well. And we have a flammable permit through the fire department and storage and use of cryogenics. And we have an SPCC plan pending. It's about 95% complete, and I will upload that as soon as we have that in place as well. Okay. I did not mention the USDA permit here, but I mentioned it earlier that we also have the USDA permit. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yep. I have
Andrew?
two.
No.
Mr. Jimalaro.
Yes.
How I say it?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
We've seen a lot of these submittals and a lot of these permits. I got to tell you, I spent the weekend reading every word, and I got to tell you, it was outstanding.
Oh, thank you very much.
This is one of the best I've ever seen. Thank you. Did you write it? Take.
Yes, I did. I had some help.
Take the credit for it. Yeah, it was extremely well done. Thank you very much. And thank you for coming to Burlington. We were very happy. You're one of 21 or so biotechs here now, and we're very happy that you're here, and hopefully you'll be very successful. One thing, and you probably didn't know, is I'm going to give you one example. For instance, 7.8.1, procedure for medical emergency and first aid, and then it goes on for all kinds of other things. It says call security at the number and dial 911. We would very much like you to put together a call-down list. Police, fire, MWRA, Leahy Clinic, which is right around the corner here, and the Board of Health. We need to know if there's an emergency here. Why? Is because we'll get the fallout to calm the community. Not that anybody's going to be upset, but please let the Board of Health know, because the buck stops here.
Right.
So if you would please put together a call down and add it to your standard operating procedures. I'll ask my environmental engineer, Christine, should it be placed here? And maybe would you place it on each floor or something? A list of who to call, because clearly you're going to call security, but if there's an emergency, you're going to call Leahy, you're going to call the police, you're going to call the fire. You're
Right.
gonna call environmental engineer, because they're going to call her right away. I'm sure that you have given a list to the fire department of the hazardous materials already. Have you done that? A list of the hazardous materials that if there was a fire or an
Oh, yes.
Do they have it yet?
Does the fire department have that?
Yes.
The fire department should have that, yes, but I will verify that.
Please verify that. I've talked to the fire department last week about all of these, and they just want to say, look, we'll get there. We'll go be the first one in, but we'd like to know what's there just in case.
Sure.
So on each floor, if you please put a call-down list with the Board of Health number to fire department may call us, but just in case, the buck stops here.
Sure.
But I have to reiterate that this submission was outstanding.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that, so, thank you. And we will add those call lists. We do have a phone list at security, but we want to keep our personal phone list confidential, but we do have a call list, and we'll make sure we have the Board of Health included on that.
To have something on, so people know in case of emergency. I'm not foreseeing any emergencies, but, stuff happens.
Right, thank you very much for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming to Burlington.
Oh, and I guess, and then the question is then, when would we be issued a permit, I guess, or?
Ms.
So-
We're going
We
to
have
vote
to
on it.
vote on
Oh, okay, all right.
So I need a motion for a biological safety permit for 25 Blue Sky Drive, Visceral Corporation.
Motion to approve.
We have a,
I have a motion.
you have a
I
motion,
made the
and I
motion.
will second that motion, with the request that you post the call-down list, and then you check that the fire department has the list of hazardous materials. Those two.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Here you go.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Congratulations. and-
Thank you.
You'll get your permit, and it'll be available in the portal, and probably tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, great. I'll check it.
Thank you.
If you don't see it, just give me a call, and we'll double check it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Moving right along here. Thank you very much. Where am I? All right, we're moving into variances. Birdie Bar, 159 Cambridge Street, external grease and scepter. Are you here?
It's 154.
It says 159 here.
It says 154 in the document, so.
Sorry.
On one of them.
Oh, okay. That's all right. I was looking at the agenda. Sorry about that. Please sign in. And your name, sir?
My name is Thomas Shea.
Thomas Shea.
And I can give a quick summary.
Okay.
That would be fantastic.
Sure. So the business is an indoor golf simulator bar, and the type of food that they're going to be serving is pre-cooked food that is just going to be reheated. There is a menu attached, so they'll be generating very little fats, oils, and grease. The variance request is for Section 2.3 Part A for installation of an external grease interceptor. The application is attached. So the board, the action that the board may take is to vote yes to approve the variance from Section 2.3 Part A and allow the new food service establishment to operate without installing an external grease interceptor with the following condition. The food service establishment operator and the property owner both understand that this variance may be subject to revocation, suspension, or expiration as determined by the Board of Health. A variance under these regulations may be revoked, modified, or suspended only after the food service establishment has been notified in writing and given an opportunity to be heard at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Health. Reasons for revocation, modification, or suspension of a variance include, but are not limited to, a determination that the food service establishment is discharging grease in quantities sufficient to cause sanitary sewer line blockages or increase maintenance of sewer lines. Or the board may vote no, not to approve the variance.
Any questions?
You understand you have to keep logs, clean out logs for the indoor, inside?
Yes. We currently have the identical facility in Waltham, and we have John Sewer come and do it on a regular basis, but we use paper plates. The pizza ovens don't really produce anything, and we only use air fryers, so we're really not producing anything, but we do it on a regular basis, and we'll keep those logs on site for inspection.
Our health agent and her staff get very upset if their logs are not up to date.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. All set.
Any questions? No. I need a motion to approve the variance for 154 Cambridge Street.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the variance for an external grease interceptor at Birdie Bar, 159 Cambridge Street.
54.
It's 154.
154, oh yeah, there it is. 154 Cambridge Street.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, and
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
So that's 401.
No,
No,
yours is-
400.
Oh, you all set?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Okay, so we're moving on to another variance with Inoki for Wayside Road, acidification for sushi rice. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Sorry?
How do you say the name of your company?
Hanoki, you pronounce it perfectly.
Okay, good, thank you.
Hanoki is,
Just wanted to be
yeah.
sure. Please
Yes.
sign in, and you are?
Just a second, sorry. Hi, good evening. My name is Andrea Cole. I'm the paralegal
Very slowly, please, your
Oh,
first.
sorry. My name is Andrea Cole. I'm the paralegal working for Coleman Law Office. Sitting next to me, her name is Jean Chen. First name Jing, last name Chen. She is the proposed manager and officer of the applicant.
So I'll give the board a brief summary. So this is a new restaurant that's coming in to 4 Wayside Road, formerly Not Your Average Joe's. And they want to use acidification to hold sushi rice out of temperature control. The Massachusetts Merged Food Code, Chapter 3, Section 501.16 requires food to be held either hot at or above 135 degrees or cold at or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit. The food establishment will use vinegar as a method of food preservation acidification, which is allowed per the food code under Section 350211C2 with Board of Health approval. The sushi rice recipe was tested by a laboratory, and it did come out to below 4.2, which is the standard. Their laboratory result actually came out 4.08. As long as they're making the recipe accurately, it'll always be below 4.2. A hazardous analysis of critical control points, known as a HACCP plan, was submitted, reviewed, and approved by me on April 10th. And a copy of the pH log was provided and approved. So the board may vote regarding this variance, a yes vote to approve the variance to use acidification to hold sushi rice out of temperature control with the following conditions. The sushi rice recipe shall be made exactly as recipe states to ensure consistent pH of less than 4.2. If the recipe changes, a new pH test shall be conducted and a copy of the new laboratory report shall be submitted to the Board of Health. Number 2, the pH shall be tested for each batch of sushi rice with a calibrated pH meter. Number 3, the HACCP plan shall be followed and the following logs used, and those logs were the pH meter calibration log and the pH log. Those are in your HACCP plan. Those need to be used daily. Logs shall be on site for inspectors to review. 4, the person in charge shall demonstrate how to calibrate the pH meter and test a sample of the sushi rice with a pH meter for the inspector upon request. That's usually during our routine inspections. 5, the HACCP plan shall be reviewed annually and initialed by the manager. If there are any changes, those changes shall be submitted to the Board of Health. 6, the variance is approved for sushi rice only. 7, this variance is for the establishment listed on the variance and no other location. 8, this variance is approved for current owner on this variance and is non-transferable to new ownership. And 9, violations of this variance may result in a temporary suspension of sushi operation, or continued violations may result in the revocation of the variance, or the board may vote not to approve the variance.
Any questions?
Yeah, I'm curious, like, how often do you make this, this sushi rice? Is it daily? And like, how much do you make, and how many people make it? So like, it's one thing to say that, you know, it's always going to be within the parameters of the request, but how would we actually know that the people you're trusting to get it to that pH balance is really providing, you know, that safe food?
Okay, okay, so normally the sushi rice will be made. So normally we will set up a sushi. So in the restaurant we have a different like kitchen. So we have a sushi kitchen, we have a Chinese kitchen. So for the people, we will have at least 4 to 5 people work for the sushi bar. And one of the helper normally is the one in charge of the sushi rice make.
So let me clarify as all sushi rice, actually all rice will be made in the day morning before the restaurant open. No leftover forever, no leftover either. They will dump all the leftover rice before they close the restaurant every day. So every day, all the rice serving will be fresh rice. So the procedure is they make the rice, they mix it with some ingredient, vinegar, sugar, some other ingredient based on the recipe stated on the HACCP plan. The sushi chef has to test the pH each batch before serving to the customer to make sure the pH value which below 4.2 per the HACCP plan. So regarding the volume, depends on the business. Usually for weekday, they will make one batch of rice every day, but weekend may need more, depends on how busy the business are. So the sushi chef, the head chef, is the person to control the volume of the rice, how much they need per day. But if they can't sell all the rice or for that day, they will just dump it to the dumpster.
Madam Chairman, you have a pH meter?
Yes, of course.
Does everybody know how to run the pH meter, how to calibrate it and run it?
It is a part of the training.
It's a part of the training because
Yes.
our health agent staff, and I'm sure will go in, and the first thing she will do is she will ask somebody who is in the kitchen, can you run the pH meter? You've done that before.
That's part of our inspection.
Inspection. And and we have had opposite situations where the person could not run the pH meter. And you know what? We closed you down.
I have confidence it won't
So-
happen on us.
We wish you the best.
Yes,
The
sure.
other question I have is, where do you get your sushi from? Is it frozen? How do you,
No, the sushi is rice.
the question is, how do we sure that there are no parasites in the fish?
Oh, okay. So all fish will be ordered by the licensed shareholder. So those they provide us a certification to prove all the fish they provided to us are compliant with the HACCP plan as well. So we will never buy any sushi fish from the market. No, they have to be ordered from the licensed, approved shareholder, the wholesaler.
Madam Chair, are you comfortable with that?
Yes, so all the sushi operations, that's what they do, is that they have the vendor freezes the fish on their end, and they do a quick freeze. I think it's below minus 35
Yes, it
degrees
is.
Fahrenheit for like 7 hours, or I forget how many hours, but it's a very short period of time. So that way, the establishments don't have to do it on their end. If they did it on their end, they'd have to maintain it at -4 for 7 days. And that's kind of tough with things going up and down with opening and shutting the freezer. So they all depend on the vendors. And as Andrea mentioned, the vendors provide certification letters, and that's part of our inspection as well. And it's in their HACCP plan.
I would never question you. You are so complete. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And last, when are you opening?
Hopefully by end of November, catch up the December's holiday season.
And tell, where is it located again? You're on television, so.
It is formerly the Not Your Average Joe's in the shopping plaza.
Comment?
Yep, yep.
Do you have non-sushi item?
Of course.
People like me who don't eat sushi?
Yes, we have cooked, prepared from kitchen item. That's why she mentioned that we have separated the Chinese Asian food section and sushi section.
Okay, so
prevent-
Chinese Asian.
Asian, mostly Asian, not only Chinese or some kind of Japanese cooked food, ramen, fried rice.
Thank you.
I have a question for
Wabby guy.
Marlene. if I may.
Great.
Oh, sorry. Marlene, I just was curious, so if the logs are on site and they're available for inspection, like, do you just do a random inspection? Is it you that does the inspection of the logs? Or how did we ensure that, you know, an annual review is great, but in the meantime,
Well, no, the annual review is on their end, looking at their HACCP plan.
okay,
So that's different.
Okay.
But we go in twice a year, not just myself, but the other inspectors.
Right.
And we have a checklist.
Okay.
So we have a checklist that we're checking everything. Do you have your HACCP plan? Let's look at your HACCP plan. We look at it with them there. Let's look at your logs. Let's look at your invoices. Show me your invoices. Let's make sure your menu has your consumer advisory. So we're looking at everything specific to that particular operation. Good. The sushi.
Thank you.
So
Are those inspections scheduled?
I was wondering about that.
they're unannounced. All our routine
Okay.
inspections are all unannounced.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to clarify. Okay. Any other questions? This sounds good. Okay, great. So I need a motion to approve the variance for Hinoki for Wayside Road acidification for sushi rice.
I'll second that.
So all in favor? Sorry, I'm
Aye.
still on the other side.
Aye.
Aye. 400.
You all set?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next variance for Common Crafts, 75 Middlesex Turnpike Pet Dogs Outdoor Patio modification. Please sign in and then introduce yourself. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Larry Leibowitz, owner of Common Craft Restaurant.
So Common Craft is located at the Burlington Mall. You might have seen it. It's right by the main entrance to the right. They have a lovely patio area there. And a variance from Food Code Section 6501-115 was approved by the board on June 27, 2023, to allow for pet dogs to be on the outdoor patio, so known as an outdoor dog-friendly dining at the food establishment. There were 24 conditions, and I did include that original letter with your paperwork.
Thank you.
And what I did is I highlighted, or I should say, I put in red the proposed changes to the existing variance. So let me go through those. So the changes would be under, I think it's 14, yes, so 14, actually 13 would read, dogs may be served water, and only was stricken, by the food establishment in dog owner's bowl or single-use disposable container. We added 14, dogs may be served food that has been approved by the Board of Health. All food for dogs shall be served to the dog's owner in a disposable dish or container, and the dog owners shall serve the food to their dog. Food establishment staff shall not serve food directly to dogs. And then if we go down to item number 23, there was an addition, I'll read the whole paragraph. The food establishment is fully and legally responsible for any safety and/or public health issues that may arise from the presence of dogs in the restaurant. This includes, but not limited to, attacks, intimidation, health-related issues, and allergic reactions. It will hold the Burlington Board of Health and the town of Burlington harmless in all cases. So I do want to make mention that since this variance, the original variance, went into effect in 2023, we haven't received any complaints by anybody. So there hasn't been any problems when we're there during the good time, the time of year when people are out on the patio. That, again, that's part of our inspection, that we take a look to make sure the signage is there and that the place is sanitary. So again, there's been no issues. And this is not unusual to have a dog menu. I did a little bit of research because I was curious, and there's a restaurant in Boston that has a patio pup menu, a place called 75 on Liberty Wharf. And also in other states, there's some dog-friendly restaurants. I think there's some names here. There's a California-based chain, the Lazy Dog Restaurant. They have a menu for dogs. Rock and Brews. I don't know, I forget where they're located, but they're out of state, but they have a menu for dogs. Dairy Queen, they have a little menu for dogs. Dairy Queen visitors can get a free pup cup with another purchase. So it's not unusual, and the board can vote. Let me grab my original here. Here. Okay. So the action by the board may vote yes to approve the variance modification with the edits and conditions below. I read number 13, I read number 14, and I read number 23. Those include the changes. Or the board may vote no, not to approve the modification and leave the variance as is.
Do you make this food on site, or do you bring it in and then just like heat it up and serve it?
So it's a combination. I posted the proposed menu. It is a mix between food that we prepare, such as unseasoned chicken breast, a hamburger patty, overnight oats, peanuts, and then items that we purchase, such as puffed rice, like Rice Krispies, dog treats from approved vendors, as well as some local canine shops that make and sell dog food.
Madam Chair?
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Do you have any problems with the conditions or the changes?
No, I do not.
Okay. I will say that I asked our health agent, our professional, and you have no issues with this whatsoever?
No, it's very low risk.
It's very low risk. The only reason I asked, I had changed 23 is because you might have heard last week, there have been a high increase in dog incidents at institutions in the United States. It's gone up significantly, but you've had no problems. I have no problem as long as you approve the changes.
Laura, do you have any questions? No. So at this point, we need a motion, or I'll make a motion to.
You can't.
Oh, I forgot, okay. I need a motion to approve the variance for Common Craft, 75 Middlesex Turnpike.
I'll make a motion for the variance, to approve the variance for Common Craft, Food Code 6.501115.
Motion to approve.
You have to second.
Second.
You second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Do you have a rough estimate when this is going to start?
We'll probably roll it out this weekend.
Okay,
Oh,
good,
cool.
thank you.
Very good.
Great, thank you.
very much. Enjoy. Okay, we're moving on to staff reports, and let's start with Health Agent Marlene Johnson.
Okay, so I just wanted to let the board know, I did have to temporarily suspend a permit. It's on my report dated May 13th. So they were closed at 11 a.m. They needed to do some cleaning. And the suspension was lifted the next day at noontime. Follow-ups were scheduled. I already had a follow-up with him on the 8th of May. He has placed systems in place for regular cleanings. There'll be another inspection, and we'll make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And then we have commercial outdoor pool inspections that we're doing this month, so we're, between myself and Samantha and Taisha, we're going to get those done by the end of the month. A lot of the pools, they all want to open before Memorial Day, so we're going to get those inspected so they can. And then we received a $10,000 grant for the retail program standards to work on maintaining the standards that we've already met, and also to work on Standard 9, which is the risk study report. So we're still working on that. Are there any questions on my report?
No, that's fantastic. Thank you for the
Hand
work you
sink
did.
disuse. What was the hand sink disuse?
Hand sink, where is that one?
Well, at
Investigation.
investigations.
Oh, okay, let me just review that one.
Oh, that was down
Hand sink.
here.
It was on your first page, May 13th, first page.
I'm looking under investigations.
No, I'm sorry. See, it was April 22nd, I'm sorry,
Oh.
investigations.
Okay. Oh, that, okay. Let's see, him at, inside, address for PIC. So they, Hammore sink misuse at food, a food court restaurant, okay, yes. So they were draining something into the hand wash sink. So hand wash sinks are only supposed to be used for hand washing only. You can't have anything drain in them, you can't dump food down them. So there was a hose that was draining from, I think their iced tea or one of their beverage dispenser units there. So I just had them put it into an empty bucket.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
All set. I have a motion to approve the health agent's report, April 11th through, it's
March
April 20th.
March 28th
Yep.
through May 1st, with two of them. Is March 28th through April 10th, and April 11th through May 1st. Actually, the letter goes first. April 11th through May 1st, and March 28th through April 10th. I move we approve those two.
Can I? I thought I couldn't.
You can second. She can second.
I'm sorry. Oh, you need a second? I was just looking at some details. I'm sorry. Yes, I second the motion.
Well, she already did.
Oh, okay.
Myra already did.
Okay, so
You're confused.
all in favor?
Aye.
400. Moving on to the environmental engineer, Christine Mathis. Thank you.
As you mentioned earlier, household hazardous waste is this Saturday, 8:30 to noon at the at the Fox Hill School, 252 Fox Hill Road. If you want more information about what's accepted and what's not accepted, you can go to the Board of Health website or call the office. And Dr. Weiner, you had asked me last meeting about a potential biosafety company coming to town, and that is Takeda. They're moving into 60 Blanchard at Azor, taking 3 or 4 clean rooms over there.
Thank you. Thank you.
And- yep. And just interesting note on that, I had an inquiry from the folks at Takeda. When they were setting up their IBC, they mentioned that they have a facility in Stoneham, and that Stoneham is drafting some biological safety regulations, and that they're modeling them after Burlington's. And I also had an inquiry from Bedford, and they're updating their biological safety regulations and looking to model some aspects of ours as well.
Wow.
That means congratulations
Yes.
to you and the board.
No.
And Susan, and Michael. Thank you for all of you, because we all had a hand in that. It's been going back 10 years now. It's been 10 years.
Our DNA regulations went back longer than that.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
You had a heating oil release?
there was one on Chandler, yeah.
Was it a bad one?
Yeah, in some aspects it was. It was during a delivery, and the delivery person became incapacitated, and it released into the basement and to the outside of the home.
Oh. Is the person okay?
No.
Oh.
So,
With that, I guess I need a motion to approve.
I move we approve the health agents, the environmental engineer's
Engineer's
report
note.
from March 28th to May 1st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, 400. Moving on to Associate Director Health, Public Health, Michael Green.
Thank you, Board. I just wanted to highlight, we had Jody Princicato was our Board of Health intern this summer, and she was invited to come and receive her recognition, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it today. But I did want to highlight just some of the work she did for us this spring. First thing she did was update our news and archives binder. Ed had a bunch of articles dating back to like 2012 that he was hoarding or collecting, and so we were able to update that binder. And
where do you work?
For you.
Do organize them.
So that was a fun task. She actually learned a lot about the board doing that. She also helped out immensely with our health fair. She went on a new vendor search. She reviewed submitted applications for applicability. She did advertising, poster design, and distribution. She set up our raffle system, and she also hosted an arbovirus presentation table. She distributed posters for our Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day. She updated our recruitment project with new, she mapped out our zone areas and updated recruitment materials. She helped out with the medical mailing project. She was able to scan the license database and update our search requirements and send out information to local medical professionals. She reviewed our body art inspection form and did a comparative analysis to the model body art code inspection form and our existing inspection form. She assisted the public health nurse with researching monthly health topics and setting up the display tables that we see at the Board of Health. She also made Stop the Bleed certificates for class attendees. She shadowed food establishment inspections with Marlene. She helped out as the admin with mailing permits. She enjoyed her time with the nurse so much that she actually, after her capstone project, she applied to and is now attending Northeastern University in their nursing program.
Wow.
So she was, I think she got as much as we got during this springtime.
Very cool. That's great.
Madam Chair, I met her because I was the former chair. She's well-spoken. She was really excited to make a difference, and she was very professional. I would ask you please to put a letter together thanking her or something that thanking her, or maybe a certificate or something. We'll leave it up to you, and have the chair and the director and yourself sign it, please. So send her something, because I think she was just outstanding.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you for suggesting that. And with that said, are there any questions? Can I have a motion to approve the Associate Director of Public Health, Michael Green's report?
Approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
400. Lastly, we have Director of Public Health, Susan Luminello, which will include Nurse Sandra Triano.
And-
Report as well.
And
Oh, I'm sorry, and Samantha Hardy, Health Inspector. Thank you.
Really just one thing to report on. We are still currently looking for part-time administrative assistant. Yeah, so we were getting close, and we actually had someone lined up, and they had declined the position at the last minute. So now we're kind of starting over again, so the expectation is it's going to be a little while longer before, we're going to restart the interview process. We're going to wait to get some more resumes in and then restart some more interviews. So maybe a little while longer.
Okay.
The good news is we got a lot of the big permitting things done now. We're through with the hazardous waste storage permitting. We're through with the pool permitting. So we have some smaller permitting things coming up, but our next really big permitting project isn't until November with the food establishment, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
Is that something you want a subcommittee for, or no? We've done that in the past, but I don't want to hinder the process.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be, we can talk about that,
Okay.
you and I, later.
Perfect.
Based on, yeah, what you want to
Okay.
do, if you want.
We can talk about it, whatever you want.
Is the state vaccine program still ongoing? It's been going a long time.
The Vaccine for Children program?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've always done it, ever since I've been director, we've been in the state, the Vaccine for Children program. It's just that in the last few years, couple of years, I think it's been about 2 years, it's really kind of ramped up where we have a lot more kids needing vaccinations. We're still seeing that. So Sandra is still doing a lot of children in the office. We're not holding the clinics anymore because we have Sandra to do it. So she's doing a great job at just having them come into the office, setting up the appointments, things like that. So, but we are still doing it, and she still does quite a few of them.
Great.
Are they set up like at specific times? I think we had talked about this once before, about maybe setting aside a specific date.
Yeah, so we had done it before where we did like a clinic type of thing and had them all come in at that certain time. But Sandy has been able to manage it without having to do that, and she actually prefers to do it, like, just set them up according to her schedule.
According to her schedule,
So she's
yeah.
having them come into the office.
that's fair enough.
Because I think she's getting a lot more vaccinated that way too, because they're coming in
They
when
have the
it's
flexibility.
convenient for them, yeah.
Great.
That's great.
That's good. Really good. Any other questions?
No? Can I make a motion to approve the Director of Public Health report, which includes the health inspector's report and the supervisory nurse?
Second.
Oh, all in favor? 400, I'm sorry.
Aye.
I was waiting for someone to say something. And that concludes our meeting.
Can I have one liberty? Did you have a good time on vacation?
I did. We're over, right? Done.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
You have to vote. Motion to adjourn.
Aye.
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 4-0.